What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Nerdy Volume Podcast. And today, we're going to be talking about A Quiet Place Day 1. It's directed by Michael Cernowski. It's also featuring Lupita Nyong'o as Samira, Joseph Quinn as Eric, Alex Wolff as Ruben. So go ahead and just sit back, relax, and don't forget to turn it to 11. Right. So this is the third installment of A Quiet Place. Mm-hmm. Because we had A Quiet Place 1 and 2, and then now they switch it all the way back to day 1 to talk about what had happened in New York City. Is that where it took place?
I believe
That's
so.
for this one. Yeah. It's like
took place.
Ground Zero. Or would it be Ground Zero? New York?
Because where was the other location at?
They were like rural.
They were in like rural areas.
Yeah. But we're not sure if that's where they originated from or where they migrated to as a survival. You know?
True. Because it looked like it, when they came down to Earth, it looked like it was going towards New York City. And they even had like this little script in the very beginning stating like New York City is like one of the loudest places on Earth.
Yeah, you're right. Like they were talking about the decibels of like the city.
I'm like, dang, is it that loud in there? So I guess that's where those alien things got attracted to the noise, and they just crash landed over there, and they started attacking everybody. Yeah. So basically, day 1 is the first day of where those aliens just crash lands on Earth all over New York, and just basically demolishes the whole city. And Lupita Nyong'o, which is Samira, plays a character who has what does she have?
I know she has cancer.
Yeah, some kind of cancer.
But I'm not sure exactly what type of cancer she has. I don't think they go over it. We just see her taking her medication and then going through treatment and being in like I don't know if it's like a hospice. Like,
it was a hospice.
There's a hospice care,
Or like a little group home, little setting.
Yeah.
So,
She's an author.
Yeah. A poet.
The poet.
Yeah, there you go.
So she's written poetry. She also has a cat. Little kitty. Forgot the name. Does the kitty have a name in the movie? No.
Garfield? I don't know.
Nothing.
It's just a stretch.
One of us will look it up and see. We'll just call him Psst for now. So her and Psst went and just, making sure that she's safe. I guess she was watching some kind of play in New York City, and that's when it all happened. Mm-hmm. And one of the guys that was seen in the first and second part of Quiet Place was there. Mm-hmm. Forget his name. It was like G.
Who? What's in it? The one from the first movie?
Yeah. It was. I'm gonna butcher his name, guys. Is Jimon Hansu. So
that
guy right there. He saves her from all the madness.
Yeah, you seen in the trailer too.
Yeah, he's in the trailer. It's like, oh, I remember that guy.
Yeah. Shut up.
Yeah. So he.
Typical men telling women to shut up.
Yeah. Oh dang. We're gonna we're in a quiet place.
Yeah.
So he obviously he made it all the way until the second Quiet Place where I think he passes away, right? He gets electrocuted or something like that in the second day 1 or Quiet Place.
I like that how they showed him like how he got out of it, and then what happens to him in the future, but it's still good to know how he got there,
Yeah, like where he came from, and obviously towards like the end of the movie, you see him with a whole bunch of other people just floating away in this big old boat. But yeah, and she's also joined by Eric, who was basically he traveled to New York City from, I believe he was from one of the European countries, or like London, right? Or
London, England. I think he's from England or something.
Yeah, and he was there studying law, I believe. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't
even supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Wait, he was studying law, but wasn't his parents like doctors or something like that?
Something like that.
He didn't want to become a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he went the other route. And so they were just you see him with a whole bunch of other people. obviously Eric survives with the cat. Big spoilers ahead. I mean,
that was a very big
we're
one.
like we're like 6 minutes into it already. Good job, Randolph. 7 minutes now. So yeah, obviously that's where he goes. He ends up to. So
yeah. I mean, you slowly learn about the two characters, Samira and Eric, or Sam, they call it.
Oh, that's Sam.
So you see that Sam is going through some trouble. She has issues going on with her health. And after this whole breakout of these aliens that just came to the earth, and this was like a terrible neighbor, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Essentially, that's what they are, terrible neighbors. And you just see her just like, what's going on? She doesn't understand it or anything like that. And then you enter Eric, who was the law kid that comes out of the water. Did not expect a person to come out the water, but I knew something was coming out of it. I thought it was going to be like the alien things, right? I was like, But he's like, I'm like, oh, it's a human. Okay.
It's a dude.
All right. It's a dude.
I know that guy. I really thought that he was going to be a bad guy for some reason. I mean, come on. Dude coming up below the water in the trench coat.
Trench coats are scary.
Trench coat,
Mm-hmm. So we all know about trench coats.
I was keeping my eye on this guy. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
But then he came out to be okay, I guess.
And I think that you learn a little bit more about Sam when Eric essentially gets led by the cat.
Yeah.
Back to her. Yeah.
To her. And I'm just like, the cat he's like, hey, you come with me. And I was just like, so the cat played a very crucial role for the storyline for them to meet, because that's where you meet, or that's where you go to Sam's house. Mm-hmm. You learn that she was once a published poet. You find out that her dad was an incredible pianist, and so was, I guess, Eric could also play, right?
Yeah. He was playing.
Yeah. And you see that they have a connection through music, or at least styles of music, because he was a jazz player, and I believe he played classical. They're not really the same, but I mean, jazz is essentially improv stuff. So, whatever the case is, that was their common ground that they found. She didn't want to deal with him though, like throughout the show, right? You realize that
she was like, "Leave me alone." Like basically, I think she felt more like a burden.
Yeah,
because she knew her condition. She knew that whether she dies now or later, she was still gonna die. And here's this guy who has his whole life ahead of him, trying to, go with her and be with her and stuff. So she was like, "Leave me alone. I don't need you. I don't need your pity. I'll be fine on my own. You go and save yourself." So I think that was her whole deal, which kind of, it's a little sad because in the very beginning, she gets introduced. She's terminal cancer. She obviously doesn't really care. She's very sarcastic in, the little group session they're having. Everybody wants to say something. Her poetry was like, "This place is shit. Yeah. You guys are shit," and everything was just negative and depressing and stuff. And let's not forget her friend, Alex Wolff, who plays Ruben. He's one of the nurses at this like hospice group home, and he's really trying. He's really trying with her. He understands where she's coming from, but he's also trying to also give her like a purpose. To
look forward to.
Yeah. And if you guys remember, he was the one to actually push her, I believe. Oh no, I can't remember if he was the one pushing her to go out
to go to the puppet show, or
to go to the play. Yeah, and then she goes, "The only way I'll do that is if we go out to pizza."
Yeah, pizza.
And she goes like, not just on the way, like we're gonna go in and grab some pizza. And he's like, "Okay, fine." He was like a good friend to her, even though she didn't want to acknowledge it. And I get it. When you have terminal cancer, you don't want to create ties with anybody that's going to make you feel like you don't want to die.
Yeah.
And I think that's what her demeanor was, is like, don't care about me. I don't care about you. I want to go in peace.
Yeah. I got that from her too. She just doesn't want to have any kind of connection before she kind of has her life ended over there. Yeah. And so that's why it seems like he was such a pest to her. Like, just stop annoying me. I don't want
anybody. Yeah.
But he was really persistent and just kept wanting to be by her side, because he even said it himself. He has nobody in New York City because he came there to become a lawyer. But another sad part of that movie was the whole pizza thing, because I think the nurse, I believe he gets taken by one of those alien things because he was trying to silence the backup generator behind the puppet or the movie or the theater.
The theater.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is it right here for this guy. And he shuts it off successfully, but does he make it out there alive?
Because of his shirt.
Because of his shirt, out of all things.
I was like, man. And rips. I was like, how inconvenient.
Right.
Man.
Right. Out of all
tucking
the
those
things.
shirts, guys.
Right. And let's not talk about the anxiety that one feels, like having to be quiet. Cause I love the fact that they talked about like the decibels of like New York City and stuff like that. And now you get the gist of like how quiet you have to be. Like even a sneeze could be like a trigger.
Done.
Yeah.
A trigger. To lure more of those aliens towards you.
Yeah.
I feel like engineers would kill those things, especially silently. You know what I mean?
Right. Figure out a way.
Yeah.
I was like, they could have just made like a metal metal go across, make noise, cut. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right.
Like, I feel like that
Plasma cutter. Right
exactly. It's like, come on. Because so I'm gonna confess, I never watched 1 and 2.
That's fine.
And to be honest, it's good that I didn't watch 1 and 2 because I would have come up with like my own ways of killing these things. You know what I mean?
You watched 1 and 2? Yeah.
Yes.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, guys. I apologize.
Oh no, you're good.
You're good.
Sorry, but
you were on, around the same
right track.
vicinity of how they did end their lives. So
yeah. Because I'm just like, hold on. I was just like, there's got to be ways, and especially in New York. I was just like, New York has some of the brightest people in the world.
Yeah.
There, you know what I mean? And the richest as well. You know
that too.
Let me give you a hint. You're a musician. You're dealing with sound, decibels. What is like very like blaring when you hold when you hold up a mic up against to
like feedback.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
feedback. Yeah.
And
that would be that. Yeah.
And that's
but
how
to
you
create
just
feedback. To create feedback, you have you would hear. Well, I don't know how much they can hear. Like that was another thing too. Like I couldn't gauge because like if I were to add speakers to our system here, you could hear like a bzzz, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if they can hear it.
Oh, you know what I mean? Just like how?
Yeah.
Like kind of like a white noise, or
It's more like a hum almost like that. That's of the air. So like
kind of like white noise.
We have the ceiling. What was that?
Like white noise, kind of.
Kind of like white noise, or like the sound of the AC, or the sound of the
like a fan.
The fan wings. You can hear.
Yeah.
You can hear it now in the naked ear.
Right.
But through the speakers, you can hear it.
Yeah.
Depending on how hot it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
Because it picks up. It just picks it up.
So if I were to do that and to cause good feedback, you're going to hear it.
It's like.
I think just out of deduction, I feel like it had to be like a louder noise. Like a sneeze or a cough or like just talking the way we are.
Yeah.
Because they were able to move around and walk around and stuff and not attract them. But the moment even like turning on the faucet was like, you had to be like very careful. Because I feel like if you were to just like turn that thing on and it would just like splash, then you would probably attract them.
Yep.
So it's loud noises like that.
See, right now I'm thinking of other ways to communicate during this invasion. You know those water things, right? That thing goes down like
Yes.
Yeah. Imagine they make a giant one and you really got to talk to somebody, just stand right next to them. Yeah, so this is kind of sucks. And it's like, shh.
You're like, shh.
Yeah,
so how's your day going so
yeah.
far? It's amazing. I could talk like this now.
I'm like, I guess they're so scared, but I was like, you got to survive, people.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were city people, so they don't think of that survive. They don't have that survival instinct when they're in the city.
Yeah, I want to go back. I want to go back to the anxiety that you were talking about. Like, you have to be so quiet, like, the whole time. And I'm pretty sure it's just human nature. Like, you just have to kind of balance out your whole body. And I'm pretty sure, like, there's a point in time where your body just wants to, like, just let out a huge, like, shout and yell or whatever. Is that where you go into the bathtub and just go into the water, like, ah?
Yeah.
I mean, that could work, too. They can't hear that, right? Right?
Yeah.
That's what Daredevil uses to sleep.
Yeah.
Because he hears everything.
Yeah.
Back to MCU, guys.
Yeah, he sleeps in the water so he can drown it out, which is a cool concept, not gonna lie.
It is. I did want to bring up because I grew up, actually we went through a period of like end of the world movies for a long time, like back in like 2010, 2012 era.
2012 was a movie.
2012 was a movie, right? End of the world. So
War of the Worlds. Yeah.
Actually, that's what I was going to bring up. War of the Worlds.
Yeah, that's with Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
When these aliens started to crash land for the first time, and then people were getting like obliterated and like, you know, the buildings are coming down, like that white dust thing reminded me of War of the Worlds when people were getting like
Zapped.
lasered
Yeah.
and it was just like their ashes. So when Lupita was like walking through the streets of like New York and she was like disoriented and had like white all over her, I kind of got like World of Worlds PTSD. I was like, oh, it's happening again.
The movie that reminded me the most was, I don't know if you heard the movie or watched the movie called The Mist.
I've heard of The Mist.
Tom Welling, right?
Yeah, Tom Welling. And that is what reminded me of it. I'm like, oh, heck no, they're going to come out of...
And that's what they did, you know? So it was, oh, God.
Yeah, and the monsters that were in The Mist, oh, my goodness. I
forgot
kill
what
me.
they look like. I just knew that Tom Welling Superman looked...
He was powering up.
Yeah. How are you going to use your laser eyes?
Yeah.
They don't work in this world, sir. You're a variant.
Yeah. The Mist is part of the MCU.
Yeah. But yeah, no. I think that
he's like, this ain't Smallville.
The movie. Actually, it's funny because I brought up the World of the Worlds because that also reminded me of War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
And because of that, I had this cynical thing that Eric was going to be this bad dude that was going to take advantage of her house.
That's what I was saying.
Stuff.
Trench coat, Eric. Come on.
Right,
but he lost it before.
Speaking of trench coat, did Lupita's jacket, was that like waterproof?
I don't know. You're right though. Like,
because he jumped in the water with that, right? And then took out a dry piece of paper.
It's like,
like, yeah.
Like what?
I was like, is that? I was like,
details.
I was like, how is your letter so dry? I was like, have you been on the boat for over 6 to 8 hours? I don't know. It looks like you didn't change, whatever the case is.
Right.
Yeah.
He said the producer told him to just pop it out like that.
It's okay. There's like, but it's dry.
It's magic.
It's okay.
He's a magician the whole time.
Yeah.
He wasn't a lawyer.
He's like, whoosh. Yeah. Take this, Dr. Strange. Got my little letter. It's like, bruh.
Yeah. No.
I think that that whole part was weird. But no, the reason why I asked as well was because remember when she first was walking around to grab food from like the gas station or whatever, or no, the convenience store.
Yeah.
And then she sees the two kids with the fountain.
Yeah.
And then she uses it to cover herself to go under the water and back out. But
it could be like wool or something. Cause I do know that some materials like yarn, wool, they are very like,
they get
water repellent?
Yeah.
Yes.
How do they call it? Hydrophobic? It's just very like
anti-agua.
Yeah, because like I've seen videos of like wool, like people have like a handful of wool and they'll like dip it in water and then they bring it back out and it's like
just almost dry.
Yeah, because
that could be it.
Yeah, because like animals, those animals, that's how they keep dry is with their coat of fur. You know what I mean? Sense. So it could be, but also the fact that like her yellow coat was her father's coat. Did you guys notice that?
Yep.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
She didn't have it.
Yeah, she had it in the hospice, but then I think when they went to the bar,
saw the picture.
You saw the picture of him wearing the yellow, you know, like cardigan thing that she was wearing. So, yeah, that was pretty sad.
I actually like that scene where they're doing like this whole show, but it looked like charades show because you're like, oh, pick the card. Is this your card? Oh my gosh.
Right. And she's like, thank you. All in quietness. Yeah. And the pizza too. When he wrote like, what was the name of the pizza place she wanted to go to?
Sammy's? No.
Something.
Abby's.
No. Or something like that. It was somebody's pizza. And it was sad when they got there because it was burnt to a crisp. You know, it was no longer a pizzeria. But then he still found pizza even though it wasn't from there.
Yep.
He writes the name down. And then they share.
Oh, no, it was Harlem's Pizza or
it was in Harlem.
Patsy's.
Yeah, Patsy's Pizza. Yeah,
Patsy's Pizza. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, he wrote down the name.
He wrote down the name on the pizza box, and then they shared a slice.
It was cold, but it was
cold.
edible.
It was still edible, and it was just a wholesome part of the movie.
Yeah, that was really touching. But yeah, it was one of those things where when you watch it, the silence, it speaks loud. It just speaks loud, you know.
Man.
And the cat.
Speaking of
cats, the whole movie, every time I see one of those creatures and the cat in one scene, I'm like, the cat's done. Nope, the cat's not done. Next.
I think that was my most like anxiety built. Like I was waiting for that cat to go meow and then like dead, you know?
Yeah.
And it's funny because like I've been seeing a lot of trends of people grabbing their cats if they have them, or even a dog, and being like, seeing if like so and so and I can survive a quiet place, and then they'll like grab the cat and they'll run around, and then some people it's just super quiet, and then some cats are like meow meow meow, and they're like, yeah, no, we're not surviving this thing.
We're done. You see them going across the screen, like, okay, we're done.
Yeah, literally.
Actually, you were saying something earlier. You said something about the anxiety of having to be quiet. That, for me, happened when that little cat decided to walk across the lobby in the theater.
Yeah.
And
stepping on glass and stuff.
Yeah. And I'm like,
really?
No.
You better stop.
It went to the door.
Yeah.
And it was like, I was like, oh no, please no.
The one that got me anxiety was when they went to some kind of those creatures' nest.
Oh,
and
the
cat was like on the beam. I'm like, no, this cat's really toasted now. Yeah. There's fire toasted, you know.
Was the cat in the first and second movie?
You know what?
I don't know. I don't
remember seeing a cat in any of the movies.
No.
I'm gonna have to look.
I'm pretty sure there has to be one over there, but this cat was like a superstar. This guy was just like sitting on top, like, come on, dude, you can do it.
So well trained.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't think they used a lot of CGI in this movie for the cat. It was 90% of the cat, or 95% of it was real cat. And then I think maybe they used one or two when they went into like the water.
The water, yeah. Because the cat came out dry.
Yeah.
Like the paper.
Yeah.
The cat did come out.
Because water is not real in this movie.
Yeah, it's not. Apparently not. Anyway, it doesn't soak anything.
I did try to say something.
Water is non-existent. As soon as they broke into the atmosphere, water is no more.
Gone. I think the only time that water was relevant, besides like the fountain with the kids, was when it was raining.
Yeah.
And then they realized like, oh, this is too much noise for them to differentiate us talking and like the rain, which is great. I loved it.
Can you imagine? Like, you don't talk to them, right? You just like do a lot of like spec ops kind of movements.
Yeah,
and then when you get the rain, they have a Gambit voice.
Uh-huh. Oh my God, a Cajun accent. I would lose my shit. Like if we had to be quiet and I've never heard your voice, and then we finally get to talk and you start talking to me that way, we're dead. We are dead.
Because I was just thinking about, imagine if he just says something weird.
This doesn't mean I come in peace. That pretty much means don't talk, all right? Just don't say anything.
Please shut up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, but this you can feel the tension in the movie theater because I watched it in theaters. It was just quiet. Everybody was quiet.
Was quiet.
The whole you didn't hear like bags rustling to be opened. It was just like,
yeah. You're like, in the theater, I was the loudest because I had popcorn.
You can hear the crunch of the popcorn.
I can only imagine this guy. He's like the most quietest part of the movie is.
Yeah. I mean, you've gone to the movies with me for years.
Yeah.
If you ever come to the movies with me, you'll definitely hear me chomping on some popcorn.
I'm like, this guy.
And the soda. And I'm just like,
it's like the typical suspenseful part of the movie. Everybody's quiet and you hear the somebody trying to reach the chips.
And I watch it at the AMC, so you have there's a combo is you got the large popcorn, the large drink, and a candy. And because I knew it was a candy, I was just like, I need something to open like right away. And I got Reese's Pieces.
Nice.
But
you dropped them.
I have a habit because of TikTok. I have a habit of rustling the Reese's Pieces in my hand. Here, like sound like change, and I'm just throwing it in, and I'm like,
chew slower.
You're like this, like. Somebody turns around. Shh.
No one did.
We're gonna die.
Luckily, no one did.
I'm just like, jeez.
You're safe.
We're gonna die.
Because I mean, I watched it a month after it came out. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there was only like 3 times for it. So
okay. I think I watched it like a week or 2 after it came out, and the movie was like a little bit more than halfway full, and so in the very beginning it was just like and all that, and then as soon as the movie started, and like literally as soon as they crash landed and everybody had to be quiet, and everybody's just like
quiet the whole time.
Yeah, I'm like, that just means like you're just fully submerged into this movie and film, and you're just like trying to like just be in it. Yeah. So all the suspenseful parts, you're like gripping to like whoever.
Please shut up, please.
Yeah. Actually, remember you were talking about the cat going on the beam?
Yeah.
That dude, heart was pumping.
Yeah, dude, I was
like, Eric, get out of there.
No, Eric. I was like, oh.
So I was like, Eric, get out of there. Cat will be fine. Right. He found you, Doc.
He found you.
Find you again.
Right. Literally, just go home.
Yeah. I was like, get out.
The cat's just staring. I'm like, come on, bro, you can do it. Right. If I can do it, you can do it. Come on.
Yeah, the cat was all like just smug, like
you can do this. Come on.
I think that the characters was really well put. I think I really was still trying to understand who Eric was, aside from being a student in a city that he wasn't used to. You know, he's in a country he's not from. You know what I mean? He was definitely in a place that was more of a wonder to him.
Yeah.
Whereas you see Sam is in a world where she is soon going to die, and she hates everyone around her, and the world, the people, everything. So she felt like she was essentially in a living hell, right?
Right.
So having the two combined because of the cat. Let's not forget the cat played a big role.
The cat was the glue of the whole movie.
It was a really good balance between the two, especially when they had their little moment in Patsy's.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was really cool. I really liked how kind they ended up towards each other.
Yeah.
And it really did show like camaraderie within, I guess, like an apocalyptic time.
World,
and that was really cool because, like in War of the Worlds, we didn't have that, especially with Tom Cruise.
It was just like every man for itself.
Yeah,
you know,
it was the opposite.
Get out of my way, like that's that's my spot.
I mean, Tom Cruise had his own kids, so like,
so he had
to protect.
Yeah,
them.
he had to because the other guy was gonna. We don't know what was gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I think that the balance of the two characters was really good.
Yeah.
It sucked about Ruben though, because
oh yeah,
I really liked how he was like, I care, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna hate when he goes
right, and then he went real quick.
I was like, you're too good, too good to live, bro.
For real,
you know.
Yeah.
And that's why he was like one of the first ones to go.
Yep.
And then speaking of Tom Cruise trying to protect the kids, the guy, oh my gosh, what's his name? G-Non. Oh my God, that guy. And then here comes Kodak. This is Kodak, everybody. If you're watching the YouTube video, this is Kodak right in front of me, sitting down. Okay, but yeah, he was protecting
Kodak
his child,
and he's like Kodak's protecting you.
He's like, "You protection, I got you."
Be quiet.
But there was like this insane guy in the very beginning where he was losing control, and then the guy was just like, I think he ended up like killing him, right? Because he saw his son. And then he looked at him and was like, you're
right.
not gonna...
The guy was just losing his mind. He had enough, and he was basically about to just, give up their location.
Yep.
And so he was just like, be quiet. And
roof,
then,
yeah.
And he like slammed him a little too hard because, his kid's watching and he's scared and you're looking out for your kid.
Right.
But then you end up, and it was accidental. Like, I think he didn't mean to, but like, it was just, it's either me or you. Yeah. It's either my kid or you.
Because a slap wasn't going to help.
Oh, no.
But you know what could have helped, though, is if everybody on the roof came inside and he threw him outside.
Right. Scream outside.
By yourself.
Show him how good it is.
You know what I'm saying? He could have done this. He's like, he checks, and he's like,
Yeah. Good luck, everybody else.
Because in this case, he didn't kill him. The guy killed himself because he didn't shut up.
Exactly.
But I was just like, I was going to bring that up too. I was going to bring the part that he was, he was panicking essentially. That's how people drown. And so I'm just like, as much as I want to convince that, I was just like, that guy, I was like, he was lucky that he died there because, he would have died and everybody else in the building.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just like, he reminds me of those characters that don't tell you got bit by a zombie.
Oh, right. And then he's turning and then he decides,
I'm okay.
Hey guys,
Big old bite
turning
in the
into
arm.
Robbie.
Like,
Yeah, and it's always like the really nice people that notice that he's coughing or he's unwell, sweating. He's like, "Are you okay?"
Are you
Yeah, I think I
okay?
ate something bad, and they believe him. And I'll be like, "Nah, dog." I was like, "Get behind that tempered glass. We'll chill there for like a day." You know what I mean?
so let me get you some water.
I was like, "We'll get you some
Hopefully that'll
food, some
help
water."
your fever. You know?
I was like, "I'll leave you an arm." No, okay. Start testing them.
The crocodile bit you? Yeah, okay.
How you feeling? How you feeling? How you feeling? You feeling good? Are you hungry? You know? That's just the thing that just comes to mind with these types of people. Like, you're gonna scream like that, knowing that these monsters go towards noise. Get out.
Get out. Right.
Yeah.
Get out.
You need to
call an Uber.
leave.
You need to leave. Yeah.
Sabotage yourself.
To leave. Oh man. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, no, but I really enjoyed the movie. If you need to watch 1 and 2, I think.
I will.
I think the shock factor of the first one, I was like, oh my God. 'Cause you remember what happens.
Yeah. I was not expecting that at all.
Me neither.
I didn't expect
You'll
that.
see, and then we'll
I
come
do know
back to
can
it.
spoil it for you
I
right
do know
now.
something that's gonna break, I know
Right.
something breaks my heart in one of the movies, and so I do know because someone spoiled it in a TikTok.
Oh man,
It's more than one.
it's more than one.
Yeah, a lot of
But if you're not going to
heartbreaking
watch it, we could spoil it right now. But if you are going to watch it,
I want to watch it.
okay, never mind. We're not
spoil it.
we're not big spoilers, but
I am totally a big spoiler, but yeah, But I didn't watch those, so
you're good.
I think that it was really cool when I did watch the trailers for 1 and 2 again, just to kind of refresh my mind on what I remember from just the trailers. I did watch the first movie, but in pieces.
Okay.
So I don't know the story. I don't know how they ended up certain areas, and I didn't really care at the time because it was just on the TV.
Right.
I wasn't watching it. And so I do know that they spoke in sign language.
Yes,
I was just
sign
like,
language.
that's awesome.
Which is cool that you taught yourself.
Yeah,
'Cause
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they did not know sign language before then.
absolutely.
Well, actually, that's a lie because the daughter is
Yes.
deaf.
Yeah.
So they did know sign language, which
So they kind of had to learn it before
they
that.
had to learn.
moment.
Yeah.
I think I was just like, well, you guys could always use magnet letters.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you drop it,
That's why you lay it down on the ground. And
That too.
I am
That's why Scrabble exists. You could just
oh my gosh, Scrabble!
yeah, you could just
You got way more letters.
or word
got all the
charades.
letters.
Like trying to figure out what I am right now. Snickers.
So you can't use, cause you can't use dry erase because like unless anybody's making it,
No, they're
Right.
too noisy. They're too loud.
you only have it. Chalk.
Mr.
No,
Clean?
not the
Nah,
chalk.
Mr. Loud.
Not the chalk.
Yeah, no, like I was just like, what? Like, wouldn't there be natural noises like a tree, like
The
rustling?
rustling of the tree.
Yeah, or
Well,
like
so
a
this
running.
It's going to
river.
attack the tree now.
Well, running rivers are actually like one of those things like rain. Like you could be in that area and make a little more noise because it's such a constant
No.
A natural
Yeah.
flow of
natural flow.
So
of
then the
water.
rustling of trees would that not be?
I guess
Because
it
it's
attracts
natural.
them, but they don't like attack it because it's all everywhere. They're kind of like, okay, this is like noise
it's
everywhere.
like normal to them. Like, okay, this is the norm. If I hear anything unusual, like somebody sneezing, then okay, I'm pointing right at you and getting
Yeah,
you,
like
you
it's
know?
like a pointer, like oh that way, you know. Yeah.
All right. Well, was there anything you guys didn't like in the film?
Oh, I didn't like that she didn't get on the boat. I couldn't. No, I didn't like that.
Yeah, I see why. Yeah,
I know why
She's
her
cool.
reasoning and everything, but
Like,
man,
yeah.
he went with the cat. Just because he's lost his trench coat, he had to go and take hers.
Yeah.
Well, she gave it to him, but
right.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is that they never pursued her after Eric jumped in the water. They only pursued him.
Yeah.
After she made all that noise. Yeah, I'm just like,
they forgot about it.
huh.
Right.
Yeah.
I get it.
One track mind, I guess. They
Yeah.
focus on one noise and then the other,
Go
like
after the cat.
right.
The cat saw my kids. I'm offended. You know what I mean?
Well, it's kind of like pain. Like, oh, you stubbed your toe? Let me give you something to cry about now.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything that I didn't like. I mean, like the whole movie was good to me. So it wasn't like, oh, I really dislike this or that. It was more of like, it was all just very stable just like very like point A to point B kind of story. So yeah, there wasn't much that I didn't like.
Yeah.
I think that the part where the alien drowned in the water was kind of weird because I was just like, how did he drown in that? Like he fell from like no atmosphere. You can't breathe up there. I was just like, what the heck? I was just like,
maybe they don't get the concept of water. You know what I mean? Like maybe they don't know to hold their breath. Like they don't know what water is.
Are they breathing though? Like,
I don't know.
I don't know, but they make the sound of it like a clicker from Last of Us.
Oh God! By the way,
is it because of their little eardrum, their enhanced eardrums?
Maybe.
That's clicking.
That swallows water. You know why you got to go like this? You can't go like that. Exactly.
Well, they
like
do have like a big. They do have like a big mouth. Like when they open their thing to like hear or whatever.
That alien-like looking.
Yeah, you could swallow a lot of water.
Dang, choked.
Demogorgon or what it called?
Yeah, Demogorgon. Yeah. So I think
I'm drowning.
You're open too wide.
Death by water is crazy.
Because I'm just like, wow, I was just like, I guess they were from a spaceship, maybe. I was like, could they breathe? Could they not breathe? I was like, what is water to them exactly? Is it poison?
Right.
Because if it's poison, rain is terrible.
That's what War of the Worlds was. They got sick from the water. Do you remember?
I don't remember how it ended.
It was a microbe. It was like a microbial something. 'Cause remember at the beginning of the movie, they started off showing the microbes out of a droplet of water, and then when they landed, it was raining. They got into like the oceans and the lakes or whatever, and then slowly they just died off. Like they just died.
Yeah.
And then it was like because of the microorganisms in the water is how they died.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh.
Yeah, so maybe it's the same with these aliens. Like that's why I was saying it reminds me of War of the Worlds, from them like crashing down into the planet to like also being like,
I can get down with that theory because Earth is known as the water planet. All the other planets, as far as we know, of course, we don't really have a lot of water. So it's just dry, desert kind of climate. Maybe that's where they came from. They're like, what the heck is water? Submerged. Maybe it's just like their natural kind of habitat. Mm-hmm. So I think with them going into water, it's just like, what the heck is this? And
right. And then they drown because
like
they don't know what it is. Yeah. So they're like,
it's like a cultural shock to them,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's just a lot of things that trying to, understand these aliens is kind of nerve-wracking because they're just like, well, then what do you do?
Exactly.
Or what do they do? Or how do they do the things that they do?
Right.
So watching Day One, do you think Day One should have came out before A Quiet Place 1 and 2, now that you watch all three of them?
Nope. Should not have come out before.
You haven't seen 1 or 2.
I'm going to tell you right now why. Because there was barely any dialogue, right? So storyline you can't really build a storyline from that. Like I said earlier, I didn't know much about Eric. I knew a lot more about Sam only because we were in her house, but we didn't know anything about Eric. Mm-hmm. Essentially, they didn't have anything. So like Silent Place 1 and 2, they already kind of established their situation. Mm-hmm. This the whole what are you going to do now? Kind of an anxiety thing, right? Like it's like, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do? And then there's the ones that already came out, like what they did. You know what I mean?
Right.
And because there's no dialogue, because there's no way to really understand what's going to happen next, because you essentially have to learn with them. I would say if Day One were to come out, it shouldn't be in movie form. It'd be like a series or maybe a video game. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think it, but that's personally, and that's without watching the first.
That's true. It's kind of like you said, like The Last of Us,
Yeah.
I think it could go either way, honestly, if you ask me. I think it can go either way.
Oh.
I personally like the fact that they came out with The Quiet Place first, because you're like, I don't know what's going on. Yeah. Why are they here? What's, and you kind of learn as you go. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you get to see like, how did this all start?
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh, this is a movie about an invasion of aliens, and then going into like, well, what's part 2? So I feel like that shock factor, the way that they played it was great, because you're like, oh my God, like what is this? And then you're like, okay, this is how it started, which is kind of like how they do a lot of zombie movies, is they'll show you like the post-apocalyptic, like,
like what's going
world
on now,
and then they show you like what the outbreak, how did it start?
Like World War Z kind of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the big thing too, there was only 2 of them. If there were a bigger group, then it would make sense to start it off as a first movie.
Right.
Because then you get to work on like, what happens with this couple? What happens with this kid?
Right.
Teenagers.
Right.
You know, did the one girl that lost her husband, did she leave for the other group that was a bad group? You know what I mean? Like there's so many avenues that they could have took in day one.
But see, I think they kind of set itself up to be more successful than the first two, because here's why. We were introduced to a family in the first one, like the first two movies, but like we get to see a mutual character from the first two movies plus day one. Now we get to see what's going to happen with Eric, obviously, because Sam is not going to live anymore. But Eric's going to go into this whole land. Maybe we'll see Eric talking to this family that was introduced in 1 and 2. Maybe that's where the connection would come through, because I think it was like day 300 or something like that they were in. Maybe they'll start building it like day 1, day 2, whatnot.
Right.
And then we'll get to see like some form of like how it got connected from day 1 to the first two movies.
Right, like how we got to the original story.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah.
Well, what do we give you in grade
then? The cat was cool. So that gave it a C. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna give it a B plus.
Okay.
B plus.
Okay.
It could have been an A, but somebody didn't hop on the water device.
She wanted to be a selfless hero, so
she acted like she couldn't swim or somple like she acted like her body
both
couldn't
of them
move.
together, right?
She can at least try, like running,
a little bit.
But yeah, no, I give it a B plus, or should I say like, is it an 8 out of 10?
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Yeah. Day 1.
I think I'd give it a B plus as well. I like the story. I like the suspense. And I like the character development of like somebody that just doesn't care about herself, about really anybody, she doesn't care. And then you go to like technically sacrificing herself for somebody else, because she knows that she doesn't have a lot of time left.
Yeah.
And so she's like, what do I do? Do I save myself or do I just do the right thing? Which brings me to like that very, very end when she comes to the middle and, decides to end it that way. I think that was definitely more heroic than just waiting it out in her room,
And she just starts playing the music.
Starts jamming and like,
she like takes off the thing and
There
you're
you
like,
go.
oh,
music to my ears, to your
Exactly.
ears too.
yeah.
Well, for me, I'm gonna give it a B minus.
Okay.
A B minus only because like I didn't watch the first two, so I was kind of bummed at that part because I was like, I so wish.
Well, you see
if I
what
could
happened to
see
him.
like some like Easter eggs.
So in part 1, what really happened to him?
I was just like, do we get to see John Krasinski and his family in there in the first one? Or, I mean, like, they weren't even in New York, but were they in like Buffalo maybe? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't, I'm not really, I don't know much about the rural New York, but,
Right.
It's possible to be close by.
Right.
But apparently that's not the case because I did not see them. At least I didn't catch them. Did you guys see them?
No.
I thought I was almost late to the movie too. No. But yeah, no. B minus is for me. I think that the movie was great because I had no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
But I did know that these things can hear, and I was just like, as a musician and as someone who's done sound engineering and is an audio engineer, I was just like, there's so many ways to get out of these.
So many
situations.
ways.
I was just like, you can just bounce sound.
Yeah.
Sound is like a light, Doom, boom, boom.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm just like, there's so many things, but like I said, you can't really figure it out. You don't figure out the sound until after a good amount of people is dead.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and let me say, one of the most horrifying parts of the movie is when everybody's walking together on the same street.
Yes. That.
I'm like, are you dumb? Somebody was carrying a suitcase.
Yeah. Wheelchair.
Oh yeah.
God, the wheelchair.
Yeah, the suitcase. Talk about anxiety. I'm like, as soon as I saw the scene, everybody walking, I'm like, I looked over to a plane and I'm like,
Here it goes.
You see the things all on the building.
Right.
Yeah. I'm like, it's done. They're dead. They're dead.
You're stupid.
Kids walk in. I'm like, well,
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Jeez.
Anyway, that's day one.
Day one.
Yeah.
Silent place. Anyway, that's going to wrap up this episode. Don't forget to follow us on IG, Facebook, and X, formerly known as Twitter. You can catch us on YouTube, where all of our content is at. Also, please leave a review, as it will help our podcast grow. Join our community on Discord. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. And don't forget, turn it to 11.